Well, apparently the intro is missing this week, so all that fun stuff. Welcome back to the garage, everybody. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but it is the garage, so something always has to go wrong. Welcome back to the #1 live tuning show on the interwebs. Hopefully everybody's staying safe and healthy out there. It's been a crazy couple weeks. Obviously missed last week. Mrs. Garage has been under the weather. As I said, she's finally feeling better today after multiple trips to the doctors. Negative COVID test. Luckily, it's not that. Allergies been killing me. Headaches. I'm on the verge of having an ear infection myself. And then, just small annoying things like transmission lines exploding on the Nova whenever you're going down the road. You want to talk about smoke monster? Let's just talk about the giant plume. Barely made it back into the driveway to find out that I just got done replacing the hoses on it, and, slapped my hand. Did not pay attention. The hoses that they sent me were not the 250 PSI hoses. They were the 50 PSI hoses. Luckily, the split happened right in the middle of the engine bay, so every single thing in the engine bay got nice and hosed with oil. No fires, though. No fires. But today I actually went in, put all AN lines in, all that stuff. Put a new oil cooler in. Should be good to go. Because it's going to be kind of nice this weekend. The dogs are going crazy. Yeah, exactly. Rust prevention. Rust prevention. Yeah, there's definitely... No, there's no little goat in the oven. No worries there. So... Brandon, it keeps on, he's having issues with his AEM wideband. It keeps on failing free air calibrations. What's it doing? No kids. Don't have to worry about kids over here. But other than that, what else is new? Got the heads on the big block. Got the intake manifold in. Just literally waiting on, I think, the cam and the windage tray. I need to holler at Mylodon and figure out what's going on there. Jason in. No reason to go straight to Innovate. AM makes good widebands. It was jumping around crazy. So whenever you take it out and do the free air cal, it's just failing it. Just did cams swap on my Coyote. What cam did I end up going with? It is the Crowler. I can't remember which the model number is, but it's a something like a 288 302 or something like that. I went about as aggressive as I can go with the springs that are in my heads right now. Yeah, Brady, I would try a new sensor because you can get the cheap LSU 4.9s. And they will work. Dude, I'll be honest with you. I thought I lost a ring. I was like, oh, finally lost a ring. I was like, but it's still making great power. That's not good. And then I glanced down. And as I was about to pull back into the driveway, I noticed that my trans temp had gone all the way down to 0, which means there was no fluid in the pan. Danny asks, so I'm doing my intake filter. Is it okay that I have the MAF at the throttle body? It doesn't matter where the MAF is at, Danny. Just try to keep it in a straight section. That's the important part. Doc, how much does the Coyotes have to be limited on the phasing? Because normally I will sit here and tell you that variable valve timing is a waste of time, but on a dual overhead cam motor like that, it makes a huge difference. MK selling the Silverado. Sorry to hear that, brother. Are you getting something else, or are you just going to get out of cars for a little bit? What else can cause a single very loud bang on the tailpipe besides a butt ton of fuel? You nailed the big two, butt ton of fuel and heavily retarded spark. I don't know that exhaust leaks would necessarily cause a big one. Well, MK, hate to hear that, brother, but I know how it goes. After blowing the trans line off, I almost decided to just go EV on it. What up, Mark H? That's right. Let's put batteries in the Nova. I'm just kidding. I actually started looking for a Chevy Chevette. Would be good to say my Gen 3 MAF is going bad since I can't get the MAF into line while tuning. Just every time you make a change, something else happens. I would at least try cleaning it. Get some MAF cleaner. Hose it down. What's going on, Script Mike? I think a Chevette would be a fun project car. I don't even know about big block, but I'm thinking maybe we tear down the 350 that comes out of the Nova, rebuild it up, make it strong, and throw it in a Chevette. Yeah, that's a good question. Super slow. Is DFCO still on? Brandon says, on a Turbo 5.3, should I just get rid of the narrow bands altogether? I mean, I wouldn't. But, depending on how you're running it, if it's a single turbo and you're running the crossover log or something like that, you may have a hard time getting the narrow bands to ever work correct. A lot of people learn how to drive in a Chevette. You know, the really weird thing about it is you can't find them. You just can't find Chevettes. Is it just because they all ended up crunched? You would think that those things would just be everywhere. Yeah, Brandon, you might have a hard time getting Bank 1 to read properly. So, yeah, that's right, Doc. What happened to the Citation? They're all parked next to the Yukos. Oh, you want to trade me a Chevette for the Nova? Let me blow another trans line first. Then we'll talk. Surprisingly, though, I did actually take the wideband out of the Nova because I had the 300300 in there. And I hooked up the LSU 4.2 that has the built-in wideband controller on that thing. And it's working really good. Oh, I can keep my engine. You're going to take the smoke monster with the smoke. I got too much money in that motor. I'm afraid to even do anything with it. Super Slow, what's the rest of your mods that you've got going on? I mean, you shouldn't have any peaks, really. Ah, Chevy Loves. Man, one of my best friends in high school had a Love. Loved the Love. John, I don't know if I've talked about it on here. Whenever I was up in Alaska, there was a dude that was rocking an old Datsun Z with a RB26 in it. That thing was crazy. Yeah, Rick, I think you may be right that they evaporated. I saw one that didn't look like it was in that bad a shape, and then you look a little bit closer, and that thing had rust in places where I'm not sure how it accumulated any moisture to get rust. Good size cam, cold air. Just installed that 450. No, you should still be smooth. How close is your mass airflow sensor to your throttle body, though, Super Slow? That's going to be the question. How's the camera look? I'm using a different camera. Look how fancy it is. It has bokeh and everything. The background's nice and blurry. My face is all high resolution, which is, I'm sorry for you guys. You have to see me so clearly. Oh, actually, I had a question for you. Yes, I do have the mic right. I'm using the correct mic on top of it. It's right behind the air filter. You may need to move it further down the intake track, Because if it's too close to the air filter, that air will get some eddies in it that will cause it not to be smooth. Yeah, bump it up. Bump the resolution up. So here's the thought. I want to kind of poll you guys on this. I think I'm going to do some free live tuning sessions. Format like this. We'll focus on a platform. We'll go through kind of the tuning steps. You guys can jump on, watch, ask questions, etc., etc. The idea, though, or the question I had, would you guys rather this be like on the weekend during the day or during the week towards nighttime? What's your thoughts? What would you be more apt to come participate, do some tuning, dive in, talk about things, learn? Well, it ain't going to be that soon. What up, Ozman? So we got weekday, we got weekend, weekday, weekend, any evening. I like that answer. Weekday. A lot of weekdays. Oh, John, that's an interesting idea. See, a giveaway for a live tuning session for somebody, but live stream it for all of us. Transmission tuning's easy. Just do it. Just do it. See, that's the thing is I know there's a couple of you guys, there's probably at least 3 of you down under right now, and you got to take into account that these poor souls are working right now. But I love the fact that you guys take the time to tune in regardless. So I will try to do it, I won't do it at noon, so it's first thing in the morning for you guys. If we do it, maybe we do it on weekend at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Sit down, do an hour or two. Okay. Obviously, next week is Thanksgiving. I will probably be pretty scarce next week. I'm going to disconnect for a couple days. Because I have literally, we're coming up on almost 2 years now. And it has been a busy 2 years. Busy 2 years. We are on episode 31 of season 2. I don't know when season 2 is going to end. I don't even remember how many we did on season 1. We've probably done at least 60 or 70 live shows, if not more, which is crazy. Awesome. So, obviously, next Thursday is Thanksgiving. But, a lot of people aren't necessarily going to be traveling for Thanksgiving. So, I don't know. I might still do a live show next Thursday. But, the seasons are arbitrary. I don't even know what they mean. I just try and keep track of where I'm at. Snake Eater's being hard. Brandon, you did. Did you email me on that? I probably need to go back and search through some emails. I'm pretty bad about shipping things out. Oh, there you go. D&Z said put in the commentary. But, as I said, we'll probably look at doing late afternoon weekends. Every time you do another Gen 3 series, you start a new season. Okay, that's not a bad idea. We did the Gen 3 volumetric efficiency video. The newest one will be out tomorrow, if you're a member, which there's a lot of green tags in here. Thank you guys for your support. You had early access to that. We will be doing some more Gen 3 stuff. We'll talk about some timing, things like that. Rick, you are correct. And for me, I need some Zen time. Tan has a good question. Travel 4.5 hours of the truck where I have heat, music, and AC, or YOLO it and take the race car with heat but no music and a slight coolant link. Can make it there and back. That'll be interesting. I get a little bit in my advanced age of almost 40. I get a little bit nervous about taking the race cars down the road anymore. Now, granted, it doesn't help that the last 2 times the truck went to the track, I had to trailer it back. Awesome, Jorge. Glad to hear, brother. Snake eaters do have data. They've got good data. Street legal. You're right. N2LS tuning is very on the money there, that most injectors out there are Bosch or Bosch knockoffs. And so a lot of the data carries over from those. So if you have a hard time finding data for a specific injector, find the same Bosch injectors that have data, same flow rate, use that data. And honestly, the way that an injector works doesn't really deviate from one or the other. Damn, Jorge, sounds like a pretty stout setup. Ugh, decapped. What up, James? TG, I did. Oh yeah, that's a good thing to bring up. With snake eaters, they will not give you the injector data unless you provide them with a receipt. Am I right on that? Their injector data is not like FIC's where it's just out there to download. My shirt size? I'm a large. A little birdie told me you're an extra large. Is that true, Andrew? Okay, James says that is correct. I thought that was the case. I personally have not ran snake eaters on any of my vehicles, but I've done some. Hey, Savannah, thanks for becoming a member. What up, Dirt Floor? Good to see you, brother. How's the new build coming along? FIC's got their stuff on the website, James. You can go out there and download all of them. Oh, okay. Danny says he called and they sent the data without buying it. I don't know why they wouldn't just put it on the website then. No, you're full of it. You got me looking it up right now. Fuel injector clinic. ECU data, man. It's all there. Whoop. Brace yourself. Whoa. There you go. Yeah. All of SFIC's data is there. They even got it for the Holly. Okay, brace yourself. Woo! Okay. Who's Fuel Injector Connection? I don't guess I know them. They try to be Fuel Injector Clinic. It is, but not always correct. Well, yeah, I've noticed that too, that some of them might be a little bit questionable on the numbers. Oh, see, that's annoying. Please email us. We'll send over the data as soon as we can. Yeah, I would sue them also if I was the main FIC out there. Ah, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. I need another monitor. I don't have enough monitors out here. Well, 205 pounds per hour, man. Of course you're struggling with drivability. Those things can't shut off enough. Nah, James, still waiting on the cam. Cam and the windage tray. So, it is, got it's so many parts just sitting there. Am I a Holly man? Not really. I'm not really a anything guy. I'll try anything. How high should I, blah, 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 in the RPM range should I tune with my map? How high in the RPM range should I tune with my map? All the way. Does PE still come into effect when you're in open loop? PE is when you're in open loop. If you're in open loop, if you have closed loop enabled, whenever you go into PE, you go into open loop. Tuning a manual, should I run it up and clutch it? No, I'd probably just run it up and let it fall off. Just turn DFCO off. I think you're lying into LS tuning. I think I would be able to tell. What up, Chevy for life? Boost juice is supposed to be 50-50, but people have found out that sometimes it's not a perfect blend. And you're correct. Negative 20 is not sold in Texas, which is a pain. I used to buy it by the case whenever I went back to Oklahoma. 325 wants to know, has anyone had a front speed sensor on a 4L80E die showing 8192 RPM and the converter won't lock up because of that? I have not seen that, but I have not done a lot of 4L80 stuff. At least not enough to run into one of those random one-off issues. Yeah, I really want to try a Haltech. Very tempted to pull the AEM off and swap it to a Haltech eventually. That might be a project for the springtime. Not that I don't like the AEM unit. How far back should I go to look for some starter vids? Prestige. Go over to tuning101.com and just go into the generation. Frogson, yes, I am originally from Oklahoma. Just use M1 from VP without mixing. You are a ballsy man. Well, thank you, Brandon. There you go. Andrew has a great take on it. Run mine right up to the limiter, ignore the last couple of cells, then extend the trend based off the rest of the curve. Yeah, 325, something in your TCM is not happy about it. Well, it's the RPM signal is what it is, because there's got to be a cutoff on there above so many RPM that it does not lock up the torque converter. Would you ever try EFI Live? Gladly. I would try EFI Live if they would release the new unit. I'm not going to buy the V2 with the V3 right around the corner. Still tip lean on hard decel if I follow pedal back down. Garrett, I'm from Enid area. I have lived in Stillwater. I did go to Oklahoma State. Chevy for life. I missed your question. Closed loop is whenever the O2 sensors are making adjustments. So, closed loop, the O2 sensors are part of the fueling loop. Open loop, the O2 sensors are not part of the fueling loop. What did I do for a speedo on the Turbo 400? Danny, you can use on at least, I believe, Gen 4 and Gen 5, both, you can use wheel speed. So there's a setting in the ECU that you change it over from, I can't remember, calibration to GM LAN or something like that, and it'll use a wheel speed sensor for the speedometer. Did they finally come out with the third gen ones? I knew it was supposed to be any time now. No, FlashScan V2 is the one that's on the website still. They have not released FlashScan V3. You may have the software, but you don't have the new interface. Smooth power application script, Mike. Are you on a 5th gen platform? I can't remember. The Killed 6L82 need to adjust shift timing or shift pressure to start. Both. Lower shift timing a little bit, bump shift pressure a little bit. Ugh, Garrett, you're about to get banned. I'm just kidding. That being said, Bedlam is this weekend, and Oklahoma State is going to stomp a mud hole in OU. So, it'll be a fun game. Could someone cut the speedo settings in half so the odometer only shows half the miles? I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Be illegal. I mean, you could change your wheel and tire calibration and do that, your gear calibration. That'll throw all kinds of fun stuff out. Tick Performance is coming out. I saw that, Dirt Floor. In fact, I saw that on SEMA 360. But as I said, the other way works perfectly fine. So, no raffle tonight. Does that get rid of the anti-lock? No, it does not. At least not on mine. I don't know about the Gen 3s. The ABS module, Gen 4s and Gen 5s, is completely independent of the trans module, so it does not care. It is just looking at wheel speed. Driven wheel versus undriven. What all needs to be done wherever you switch over to the Turbo 400? Flex plate. Got to do a new flex plate because the offsets are different. That's it. I don't know. I did a video on it. There's a couple small things. It's actually very, very, very simple. How much will the EFI Live unit be? Probably 800 or so. Yeah, they're selling the auto cows. Not the other unit, the actual tuning unit. The flash scans. Can't do anything that the auto cows really without a flash scan, so. Ah, Garrett. Thank you, sir. I will put that towards beer this weekend where I watch OSU pound the Sooners into the dirt. Catan is correct. There are only two good teams. Well, there's only... it's funny because I live up here and I get to go see West Virginia play because they're in our division now. And so literally whenever I moved up here a couple years ago, I got to see OSU play Pitt and then come back and play West Virginia in the same season. I hadn't seen two OSU games in the same season since I was in college. And I was talking to some West Virginia guys there as we were literally just stomping the crap out of them. They were still in good spirits. But I told him, I was like, listen, I'll be back to watch West Virginia play OU, and I will be cheering for West Virginia. Oh, yeah. Well, once again, I got a video on that for the PCM, which, I mean, I don't know about PCM, how you would do it on the 3rd gen. That would be interesting because it is a PCM. 4th and 5th gens, though, since you have TCM, you basically just have to flash the ECM over to a manual ECM tune. Oh, you want to bet me, Garrett? Come back next week. We'll see. NS Boost, that is pretty darn good for that DA. Good Lord, where were you racing at that you had a 12,800 DA? Craig, so on my Pro Charge 6th gen, adding snow meth, will that itself lower my IATs? Pick up ET without tuning. It'll lower your IATs for sure, Craig. You will not pick up ET without tuning, though, because you will be running rich. Even if you run a small nozzle to lower ETs, you need to compensate for the fueling on it. Dirt Floor, what is the benefit of your dump valve? Tell me this. Why do I need a dump valve on my Nova? I'm not turbo. How much initial fuel to add across the board after turbo install? You have to, it's not just across the board. You can't just go in and add 25%. You need to go out to peak RPM, calculate your boost. And to make it easy, if you're running 15 pounds of boost, you need to double your fuel at peak RPM because you will be doubling the airflow. But then you need to trend it down based on your boost curve. That makes sense. Element, you made it in time that I am 2 minutes over, so we're about to wrap it. Commanding 0.999, is that why I shoot for the entire curve? No, well, you're commanding 0.99. Basically, we'll just call it 1, Kenneth. Until you go into power enrichment, then you should be commanding, 0.85, whatever your power enrichment modifier is, depending on your setup. But regardless, if you're using a wideband, doesn't matter. Whenever you go into power enrichment, the calculation still works correctly. That's kind of what I thought. These are new things for me, and I always thought that the trans bypass or converter bypass was for whenever you're building boost, keep pressures down. God, these power glides have so much pressure, like 220 psi pressure, which is crazy. U2 325. Sean, yeah, I probably have a video out there that talks about that, because what you're doing whenever you go from pump gas to are you talking about going to E85 solely, which I generally do not suggest, because E85 is, E50 to E80 generally? Or are you just talking about setting up flex fuel? Dude, my 1-2 shift feels like it's going to rip the rear axle out of the car, Dirt Floor. Hey, Mr. Schmidhead. Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Yeah, Steve, I've been doing mainly half hours here recently. We'll get back into 1 hours eventually, but and obviously we often go over. I think last week we went almost 45. WMR, I do. Specifically, if you go to the Tuning 101 and search serial, I think in my videos it should pop up. Yeah, 32. 30, 92 octane. 30 is probably attainable as long as you're not boosted. I'm running 36 degrees on the Nova right now. Cool, man. Cool. Okay, let's wrap it up. You guys know the drill. As I said, next week I might be hard to get a hold of. But I will be back. You know me. I never disappear. You guys enjoy Thanksgiving and whatever you guys do down under. Eat koalas or whatever the Australians do for Thanksgiving. Whew, 42 degrees. You know, Socrates, I think the 350 likes a little bit more too, but I get a little bit nervous going above 36. Kangaroos, wallabies, whatever you eat down under. Yeah, LS2 is not going to make it. No LS platform is going to make it 42. If you get an LS platform above 35, you're probably not making power anyways. So just because you can run it doesn't mean that it works. Ask me how I know. Okay, you guys know the deal. We'll see if the ending screen works because the intro just flat out did not work. ABT. Nope. Da 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 da